All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Old Reader, New Reader. We have a different time today. That's because we have a super awesome special guest. And that is, okay, I was going to ask you how to pronounce your name correctly because I don't want to F that up, and I meant to do that ahead of time.
Oh, but it's no problem. I mean, it's a Swedish name, so hi, everybody. My name is Joakim. I have a channel called Joakim Comic Center, and there's no need in pronouncing that right. And yeah, I'm a comic book fanatic turned minimalist, and I'm right now trying to reinvent my channel into being more about the habits around the comic book collection, more so than assembling all the pop culture stuff. So yeah, that's what I do on my channel.
Which I love because I'm absolutely in love with your setup. It's so like aesthetically pleasing to me.
Thank you.
Which because I'm big on that, and I love the whole thing, and then I love hearing about you going through and reading all of your stuff again and be like, okay, do I actually need these things, right? Is this actually something I need to keep for me? What's essential to me? What's not? And it just looks, it's so beautiful. I could stare at that shelf all the time.
Yeah. The problem is I can do that too. So that's a lot of time just goes to waste just by looking at the books. Just grab one and read it and enjoy it again.
Yeah, but man, it's nice. It's like, it's almost meditative. Just like, oh, yes, this is great. Oh, good. Everybody's really excited. James is excited for you to finally be on. Welcome,
nice
everyone. So we are talking about Batgirl, Stephanie Brown, Volume 1. This is my first non-Barbara Gordon Batgirl I've read, which I feel bad. It shouldn't be my first time.
But I mean, there's this one and there's the Cassandra Cain run, right? Mm-hmm. And I've never read that. And what I heard, at least before the Batgirl by Gail Simone came out, that is like the peak run of Batgirl. Yeah. So I guess we're still missing out, but this is good too.
Well, you'll have to come back again sometime this year so we can read the Cassandra Cain Batgirl too.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, so I think I've read just a little bit of Stephanie Brown. Like she will show up in other things I'm reading. Like I read DC Rebirth's Detective Comics.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'll see her show up, but I didn't know much about her until this.
And that's a whole different rendition of her too, because that's post all the happenings that happens in this book that we read. Right.
And she's been like rebooted a couple times too.
Totally.
But this is really neat because I wasn't expecting. I mean, I went in blind, so I knew nothing. But I wasn't expecting this to also be such a good story for Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, and I had totally forgot that, and I am the old reader here.
I thought that was really cool. So I guess quick rundown for people who maybe haven't read it. But for this run, this is by Bryan Q. Miller. I think this came out in 2009.
I mean, this is right after the final Crisis event, so it should, somewhere.
Yeah. So she Batman is dead.
Yeah.
Quote unquote dead. Totally dead. And so Cassandra Cain, who was Batgirl, is I don't want to be Batgirl anymore. So Stephanie's well, I'm not spoiler anymore, so I'll try it out. And basically in the midst of that, she Barbara Gordon, who is Oracle, takes her under her wing, her bat wing. And kind of is her mentor / tech person.
Yeah.
So this all focuses on Stephanie coming into her own as Batgirl, while also trying to make up for some things she's done before, which I have not read, but from what I understand,
I had.
She messed up really bad.
She did.
And she's also getting over her breakup with Tim Drake.
Yeah.
So it centers around that, and she, some different things happen, but we can talk about that.
Yeah. Ever since the 90s, we probably have gotten more and more cliffhangers, but it felt like each issue was its own complete story. Mm-hmm. Like a little mini episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I just felt like she was immediately relatable. And I agree with I feel like there's a lot more story in this than I was expecting. Like I said before, I wasn't expecting to get a lot of character time. I thought I'd get a lot of characterization and growth with Stephanie, but there was so much for other characters around there too. Like a ton for Barbara Gordon, because she's also learning how to let go of Batgirl.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, but she had already let go of that character once, but now, and I mean, I don't remember. Cassandra Cain came into the role during No Man's Land, but I never read anything about how she was about accepting her into that role. But now Stephanie just taking over without her consent in the beginning. So,
which is great too, because she kind of talks about that later, right? Where just like Stephanie, Batgirl, or like just like Stephanie, Barbara also did this on her own.
I'm a big fan.
So it's almost like seeing a parent who sees their kid kind of do the same thing that they did before. Which I love seeing, because it took her a while to get through. And then they're all dealing with Batman being gone. So the whole like regular hierarchy is kind of messed up, because we have Dick Grayson as Batman, Damian's around being Damian, and everyone's just having a hard time. Yeah.
I mean, we have we have two Robins now, right? Damian's the sidekick for Dick, and Tim Drake has reinvented himself into Red Robin. Yeah.
There's that really funny moment where I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I don't say I'll forget, where Stephanie runs into Tim, and they have their quarrel, and she's like, "Oh, in your Midnighter costume now?" And now that I know what Midnighter is, I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, Dr. Midnight from JSA, right?
Sorry, Dr. Midnight. Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, and that was the first time I saw that too, rereading this, because I can't remember if it was JSA or this that I read first. But yeah, it was a lot more funnier the second time, because now I finally knew where this took place.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And this time, I totally got more of the things that Tim Drake was pushing her at. Now we're still way ahead, because this is like issue number 8 or 9 in this 12-issue paperback. But he was telling her about how she messed up and everything. And I finally remembered that was tying back to the Batman War Games trade paperbacks, where she was playing spoiler. Or playing, her character, her character was the spoiler, but Tim Drake basically tells her that she was playing, that she wasn't fit for any of the roles, and they are ex-boyfriend and girlfriend now, and I guess there's some sentiment to caring about her and not wanting her to be in distress and everything, and mixing up with villains again, because don't want to spoil War Games, actually, because that's a great story on its own, but they use a lot of hand quote signs saying stuff that they had to do to reinvent her, to making her come back into existence. They faked an autopsy and everything.
Yeah, I got bits and pieces of that here, so which I think they did a good job of. Some books, and I know because you read a lot of comics too, and have for longer than me, but sometimes you read a comic and you definitely miss out if you didn't read everything else around it.
Yeah.
But I would say this, I think this is pretty newer reader friendly.
Yeah.
Because you still understand, even if you don't know everyone, you can still get a good feel for where she's coming from, and like the trauma she's dealing with, or like what she's trying to do for herself, and kind of make up for. And going back to her and Tim Drake, because you were talking about how like, yeah, they're exes, but he still looks after her. They kind of looked after each other, but they still have this weird thing. You know, at one point, Barbara mentions how it reminds her of her and Dick, which is so spot on, especially in this book too, because still, the whole time, you know, Dick Grayson's Batman, but he's still giving Oracle a hard time. And it's like, you need to stay out of this. You guys need to get out of the Batcave. What are you doing? But then later, they still have this like flirty thing happening, where he's like, "Can you do this for me?" And she's like, "Can you say please?" You know.
That flame's never going out.
No. Never.
Now forgetting stuff. But yeah, if anything, them talking about her past and everything and what has happened, if anything, it makes you more curious and want to look it up yourself.
Oh, absolutely. And all of these characters I want to know more about now too. Like we have, I have the Wikipedia open so I won't forget names because normally I do.
That's good.
Oh gosh, I don't see her name in here.
Wendy? No?
Is that her, the girl who was in the Teen Titans who's in a wheelchair now?
Let's see. Last name, was it Miller? Or
I don't remember. But she was really interesting. Yeah, her. Yeah. I was really interested in her story. I liked how they introduced her early on. And I thought they were just introducing her as like a way for Oracle to deal with her own issues.
Yeah, reflecting on her. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, so that's all that is. But then they brought her back in such a great way later on, dealing with her father and everything.
She's the daughter of the Calculator.
Yeah.
Which is like a villain Oracle type.
Yeah, and they bring him back a lot for things. Like, I feel like you still hear about him in other Batgirl runs, like, recently.
Okay, because I think I only seen that character reading Identity Crisis.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, it's forgettable, so at least for him in that comic.
Yeah, that's true. I only remember one part of Identity Crisis on purpose, and that's Ralph and Sue Dibney. Not 2 pages. But yeah, I really liked. I can't wait to read more of. I'm going to read more of Stephanie Brown's Batgirl tomorrow because I want to read Volume 2 already.
Yeah,
but that cover is beautiful. Also,
yeah, it is. It's Dustin Nguyen.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to finish it because I don't know why I waited so long, but I already love her. And I don't love all of the legacy characters. Sometimes I like them a lot and sometimes I don't. Like, I love most of the Amazons, but I'm not a Cassie fan. So I was worried that I would read this and not like Stephanie Brown as much, but I really, really like her.
Because they're like the same generation, right? They stepped in at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think she's really fun and brings a lot of like life to the Bat family.
Yeah, because she's the. I mean, there's some history with her father mentioned, but otherwise she's like the one positive-minded person in the gang.
She's like a normal person. She just goes to school, has a job.
As normal as a ghost for Gotham.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the fact that she even has one parent alive, that's amazing. She's ahead of the game right now.
Yeah. And her bat suit.
So good.
Yeah, I love the use of purple.
Me too.
It really stands out, and yeah, just blonde hair.
Yeah, and then like getting to watch her kind of graduate from Cassandra's suit, which kept referring to as Cassandra's suit.
First off, it was the whole getup covering all the skin, even the mouth, and that was the first thing going off. and that means she's gonna speak her mind.
Oh yeah, which she does. Which I love. I love that she's so much like a young Barbara Gordon, just so headstrong and just does whatever she wants to do, even though everyone's like, hey, I need you to stay here so I can like test you, so we can train, so we can do whatever. And she's like, you can do it on the way. Yeah. I've got to go. I'm not going to wait for you. I make my own decisions.
In comparison to Barbara, Barbara is some IQ level higher, I guess, with tech support and everything, but she takes her up with that tech support herself, being supported by Oracle, but she's much more instinct.
Yeah.
She's much more raw in that way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a part I wanted to talk about. What did I forget? Oh, so I guess we can talk about some of the fights. So one of the first big fights we have is with Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Which I thought they did very, very well because of the way that she had to kind of like, naturally, I guess, fight her own inner demons, her own issues in order to fight back against the toxin. But it felt like an anime scenario a little bit, but that's why I liked it, where she starts getting hallucinations, but she's just seeing like the doubtful parts of her mind, even like seeing a version of herself. Yeah. And it was very much like, no, this is me. I'm gonna make my own way. I don't have to be what I was. I can choose to be something else. Like, I really like that. It reminded me of, I don't know if anyone in the chat played the Persona video game, but it reminds me of the Persona video game because there's some scenes like that. But
they made that stuff with you hallucinating on yourself. I watched all the Arrowverse TV shows. I had a huge marathon in 6 months.
Oh, wow.
I saw everything. And several times you have the same actor going up against their self.
Oh, yeah.
It's so standard.
All the time.
It's not a superhero show thing. It's a show thing overall. But they did really good here with first Tim Drake judging her, telling her, or hallucinating that, telling her to back off. You don't get to wear that suit. Then going into her as spoiler, kicking her ass. And I don't know. I like these kind of scenes when they're like broken down, half-face mask showing. It reminds me of stuff like RoboCop when all the cops turn against him and everything. It reminds me of Bruce Wayne in The Mask of a Phantasm when the cops turns against him and he runs away. I like that because it's just about when we're about to turn it around.
Yeah. So good.
And we jumped over one part. We jumped over several parts, but this is how we're going to go. There was a moment when, after Batgirl had witnessed that, helped Stephanie into making her first fight to a win, they gathered in the Batcave at the very same spot where Bruce and Dick were standing. And I've never even read that moment in its original, I guess, Golden Age run. And I've never seen it appear in any other series either, but there's this ritual of them just pledging themselves to the role.
Yeah.
Just with a candlelight and the wax that was still on the spot, I guess.
Yeah, it was so sweet because because I hadn't seen that either or heard about it. But because she was talking about how normally it's kind of the Robin or the mentee that's like a pledge to the older one.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was Barbara doing it, saying, I pledge to protect you and mentor you, which is so nice too because of all this time where Barbara has been holding back. She hasn't committed to her own lifestyle, not really, and she hasn't really committed to Stephanie as Batgirl. So it's such a sweet moment. It's just nice to see positive mentors in DC. It's so nice.
Instead of brooding Bruce Wayne who tells you can't do anything right.
Yeah, right. And Green Arrow's the same way. They realize it later, but but not usually at the beginning.
Yep.
Jessica said her suit was like a precursor to the later Burnside design. Love them both. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. And I mean, even before that, because they brought purple back into the Gail Simone Batgirl also.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, totally.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of inspiration from that.
But the colors matched so good also in the design.
I love all Batgirl designs. I mean, I love Burnside a lot, and I know other people don't agree, but those Doc Martens, it's just a great look.
I mean, I read some of the first couple of issues of Burnside, but it wasn't for me. And I guess it was because I felt that they de-aged her, maybe pulled her back a bit. I think a lot of people felt that way. And it felt like everything that Gail Simone had strived for her and tried to make of her was, it took some of that away.
Yeah.
And that's probably the same way that people felt about Spider-Man all those years ago when, after One More Day, and they de-aged him, brought him back into his Aunt May's house and everything. Everything that he has come to at that point, gone.
Yeah.
A little of the same feeling I had with Burnside starting off.
Which now I can see, because for my situation, it's a little different. Because when I started reading DC comic books, Rebirth just came out.
Yeah.
So I started with like Rebirth era Batgirl and then kind of went back. So I know for a lot of people that start with Oracle, seeing any Batgirl later was so hard.
Yeah.
And I understand that now. Because if I was them, I'd probably be the same way.
Yeah. And I mean, I've gotten a lot of perspective of having made a readathon of Amazing Spider-Man and everything. Now I totally get why some things was seen more as controversial. I don't know. I read Sins Past 1 or 2 times and I was like, what? And now, totally get it, having read more into the Silver Age stuff and everything. And I felt more the same way. But it takes some perspective.
Oh yeah, I think it just depends on when you get in it sometimes. Because I know that like I've had a couple of upsets for characters since I've started reading, and I'll talk to Omar. And he's like, "Oh, that's you're just a real comic book fan now. This is what happens. They write your character wrong, or they kill them. That's just normal." Like, oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Hayden, welcome. Blackwing says, Steph is my favorite Batgirl. Tim and Steph are the power couple of Gotham. I do want to read more about oh my gosh, words. Tim and Stephanie now. Because I like them as a couple.
Yeah. I did too, but I've never read some. I mean, I guess during No Man's Land, that must have been going on during that time. And War Games. I'm looking forward to reread all my Batman books.
Yeah, I need to read. Well, I mean, I'm always reading more. That's why this show is here. Partly so I can read new things.
Yeah.
So I have an excuse. So what next to talk about? Oh, welcome, Jaden. You're never too late. It's okay.
I mean, now when I'm started reading Batgirl, I'm still going to keep on going because I feel that it's so much easier getting through your books if you actually make it a marathon.
Oh,
and
I agree.
You're so into the characters now, just go through it all. I mean, sometimes it can feel like you wanted to read everything that was published during that era, but it could be so stretched out because my favorite era of DC was basically between 2004 and 2010 something, I think. Before the Rebirth, basically when Jeff Johns was everywhere and Grant Morrison was writing Batman. And I mean, there's omnibus of pretty much that whole era. But it would take so much time if you would jump between all the characters on that. So I'd rather just pick one and just go through it all the way back from Crisis on Infinite Earths or whenever and up to Rebirth.
No, I like that. And I don't know if it's the way my brain works, but for me, choosing like one character and making it sort of a challenge for myself gets me really into it. It helps me stay motivated and get through the next one. It's almost like I don't know. Like I get to check off the box. Like, oh yeah, okay, so I've made this much now. I've read this much. I read that much more. Same with video games, like choosing one series and playing all of it in one go.
And part of why I do it also is like I'm always purging my collection now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel that I get so much more enjoyment out of it actually as much as I feel that it gets better when I add a book that I really enjoy. I feel just the same way when I take away a book that I felt that I wouldn't enjoy, because now it's even more perfect for me. And yeah, so making the read through, I can keep a steady check on, okay, this was good in comparison to this book with the same character. So
I love that. And I really want to do more of that in the next couple of years. Now that like my collection's gotten to a certain point.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I really want to go back through and like really look through everything and really curate it. Also, so it'll look nice too.
Yeah, that's also it. I mean, I don't purposely go by design, because then depending on what you like, if you want all the same colors or just mending all the colors, I guess if I didn't like different type of looks on the omnibus, all the DC would go.
That's true.
Yeah,
they look so great by themselves.
But I mean, first of all, why I'm selling off so much? I mean, I sold half of my collection in 2 years, and that's just because I always bought in books and I never called it quits. And when I called it quits, it was too late. So I never stopped when it was enough. I stopped when it was too much.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm trying to implement that into my comic book videos, so that other people can take a look at their shelves before they get into that situation.
Yeah, because it can make a lot of anxiety. I think a lot of people are realizing that now, because everyone was buying so many things when the pandemic started as self-care or to make themselves feel better. And then now they have so many books they're behind on. I eventually stopped most of the way through the year because I was like, I can't keep up. And they all sell so fast. The stress isn't worth it.
Yeah, I'm making a whole video on that, and it's a project that's probably going to take before the pandemic is probably going to end before I'm done with that. But I want to research a little bit more. I'm trying to put my perspective in it without sounding judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
But totally, like you said it, the Comic-Cons were at a standstill, of course, and so you can't meet up with all of your comic buddies and everything. So all of a sudden stuff is replacing those relationships for a time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No question.
I mean, you should really mend those relationships more than just mending the collection.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why this is great. I mean, I don't think we have had this many hangouts on any channel more so than this latest year.
No, that's true. Like I'm so thankful for, this show and my show with Kristen, and just getting to like the one of the good things about this is that I feel more likely to invite people just to hang out on the channel with me on the show, because it's just a good way to meet different people that I don't get to do, especially now. But it's people like you, we're not going to meet at a con. That's probably not going to happen.
Probably not. Depending, if it's a very cheap con somewhere, I'll probably never see San Diego.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't either. I can't afford that. It's cheaper for me to go to another country to go to convention.
Yeah, come over here to Sweden.
Gladly.
It's
nice
I
can travel.
It's nice in the summer, people say, at least.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, Lionheart, really? You're gonna make me cry. Thank you. I didn't buy the Batgirl omnibus because I was trying to be financially responsible, but I wanted it.
No, I mean, I heard you say that several times on you doing the responsible thing, keeping the books and not upgrading. But I mean, in my mind, since I want to lower my book number,
Oh yeah.
but still retain the same material.
That's smart.
And I'm making a video on this also, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with treating yourself. I mean, if you truly enjoy something, upgrade it into the best quality format that you yourself prefer then, and enjoy it to its fullest. And don't hold back, because if you just take one step at a time towards that, buying first paperbacks, okay, maybe I can buy the standard size hardcover, then there's the omnibus. But why don't go there right away?
That's true.
I mean, you save time, you save money, because you probably spend twice as much as you would if you wouldn't have gotten to that point directly.
That is true. That's one thing I miss about conventions too, is doing that shopping in person.
Yeah, I miss the haggling.
Oh yeah.
I actually used to haggle, and it's. I mean, my friend said no, we can't do that. But I mean, the convention is sort of a gray area zone, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, Omar would tell you the same thing. For sure, Omar always haggles at conventions.
Yeah,
I think it reminds me of like being, I lived in China for a while, and like when you go to like the market, it's the same thing. It's a big open market, just like in conventions. So sometimes it's okay.
Yeah. I tried to do that in the Swedish market, but that's not really the same thing. More stubborn rules about it and everything.
Yeah. I could probably do it here in Kentucky, but only in certain places.
But I mean, you have to be really stubborn about it.
I'm very shy. I'm a pushover, so it's difficult.
Put on those sunglasses, walk towards one, poker face.
There we go. I've got some big aviators. I just gotta not smile as much. I smile too much. That tells them.
It's hold forward the money, says, "This is all I have. Take it if you want to. Otherwise, I'll go."
There you go. I'll just bring Omar instead. Like, Omar, tell them.
Yeah.
Go for me. They'll listen to you. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's more I want to talk about, because we can't just hang out too. It was just really good. I feel like there's so much happened in it that sometimes it's hard for me to talk about all of it.
Yeah, I know it was a lot of stuff, but
yeah, I was surprised, like, because this, I read really fast, and you know that.
Yeah. That's why I did this with you. I was thinking maybe this is too thin. Maybe we can make an omnibus or something next time.
Well, actually, there's a lot that happened in this, and it took me a while. It's about 12 issues, but I feel like a lot happened in every issue.
I mean, it's very rich in dialogue.
Mm-hmm. But it's good dialogue. It's very witty. Yeah. It's very interesting. Like, throughout the whole thing, you have you have Stephanie's monologue and you have Barbara's monologue, which sometimes they kind of play off one another, and you get so much great like back and forth with that I really, really liked. Like, I'm still so happy about just their getting both of their stories in this. It kind of reminds me of Marvel's Unstoppable Wasp. Did you read that?
No, I've read so little Marvel these last few years. It's only been Spider-Man.
but that's one Marvel I would read. But they have a situation like that where they talk a lot about the Wasp, and then also the original Wasp, Janet Van Dyne.
Yeah. And
they have this really great like mentor-mentee relationship. And I love seeing that in here. And I'd love to see more of that with other characters. But I think what makes it so special, as you talked about, is just this kind of mutual like openness and respect for each other you don't get with a lot of like male mentors and mentees in DC. Like Batman and Dick Grayson aren't going to talk like this.
No.
Green Arrow and Arsenal, like, they're not going to talk like this. one's going to do it, or Batman's just not going to do it well at all. And Alfred will have to. And then Ollie will jokingly just make jokes, but still not do it that well. And still, he'll try, but probably Hal Jordan will do the talking for him. But this was really refreshing. It felt very healthy.
Yeah. And I mean, they are doing a Batgirl show, right?
Yeah.
I would much rather, because we know it's going to be Barbara, but this would be so much better having Stephanie Brown. I hope they implement her in some sort of way, at least.
I feel like she'd be very relatable.
Yeah, because I mean, college girl. I mean,
yeah,
it's right there.
The only reason I could see them not doing it, well, one, I think Batgirl is classic, like Barbara, so that makes sense. But Stephanie might remind people too much of Stargirl.
Yeah,
because they are kind of similar personality.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking that throughout this, but I was like, obviously she's dealing with a lot tougher things. Stephanie is.
Yeah.
But they did remind me of Stargirl.
I'm going to look at this in a whole different light now. I mean, because the characters almost came out at the same time also. I think Stargirl is like 4 years older or something.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Jeff Johns made her in like just the switch by the 2000s.
Mm-hmm. And then when you have Tim Drake looking like Dr. Midnight, it's even closer.
Yeah, and that story also got me interested because I know those paperbacks are like way out of print and everything, but I want to remember that there's a title that's called The Hit List and something. And that's like the stuff that she's spoken about. Does Batman know about this?
Okay.
And I don't really know any details on it, but I guess that my guess would be that Tim Drake is taking like a darker turn.
Yeah.
And they sort of played that in several issues. I mean, I recently reread Super Sons. Mm-hmm. There we get a alternate future Tim Drake showing up. I think we also in Jeff Johns' Teen Titans, we also get an alternate take on Tim Drake in the future.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of different takes, actually. I mean, every Batman has, basically. Because we have Batman Beyond at some point, Tim Drake. There's Damian also at some point taking over. I would guess that it's Tim, then Damian, and then Terry McGinnis in that order, because it feels like Terry McGinnis is like the last line.
Yeah. Well, I always feel like Tim is a confusing one.
Yeah.
For me, because I have my idea of Tim. But then, I feel like there's so many different types. Like, I feel like writers don't know what to do with him. And so he changes a lot or dies or whatever. And I never really feel like I have a very good understanding of the character. But I want to be more.
A comment reminded me that in the New 52 Futures End, we also get a Batman Beyond Tim Drake.
Oh, yeah. I have all that downstairs. I need to read it through. Let's see. Dick Bats and Damian was the closest to Steph and Babs interactions. Probably. I did like having them around.
I mean, I think that's my favorite run of Batman and Robin. The Grant Morrison Batman and Robin run. I've reread that so many times. Very much looking forward to doing it again. I can't describe their relationship. It's so pure. I understand them. They flip around so many things. Instead of Batman taking on the whole bunch, Damian basically takes on everyone. We do the same thing as always, right? Yeah, I take on all the guys. You take that one.
I'm really excited to read that because I have that downstairs too. But I love, speaking of Super Sons, I love father-son relationships in comics.
Yeah. And you probably get that more in the Mossy Superman run, but Super Sons is also good because then you get it in the perspective of Jonathan and Damian.
Yeah, so great. The good days. The Batgirl show, I think, is going to be on HBO Max.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure.
That's one. I feel like that helps also because a HBO budget to that, and probably a shorter season also.
Yeah, because CW definitely has a certain type of TV show.
Yeah,
and I enjoy them, but it doesn't mean that they're very, very good.
Yeah, I know. But as I mentioned, I watched everything. But now with the new season starting up, I haven't watched anything, and I'll probably wait another year till it's available at some platform. But I must tell you, and never mentioned this, you talk about your love about Legends of Tomorrow.
I love it.
I love it too.
Good. I think it's the best one. I still do.
I mean, it's very free. I can't believe how much creative freedom they actually have on that show.
I know. It's. I think that's why it's good. Because it feels like every season they think they're going to get canceled. And so they just do whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it very fun and very like a comic book. More so than the other shows that are very like dramatic.
I wouldn't call it a superhero comic book though. I mean, we're stepping away from that a bit too much almost.
That's true.
But we're absolutely making the best of the situation and everything. And parodying other stuff. I still remember the IKEA episode and the puppet shows. Those are like the best.
Oh, so good. It's just fun. I'm glad that's coming back. It sucks that more people know Stephanie as the temporary Robin rather than spoiler of Batgirl.
Yeah, she was Robin for 3 days. Something like that.
The outfit's very cute for her. Yeah, I hope that, she gets more screen time. But I hope that for all of the Bat family, really. Because I'm tired of... I love Batman. I love the Joker. But I would like movies about everyone else.
Yeah.
That would be nice to me. That's what I want. I want a Bat family show. I want Detective Comics, but a show. That's what I want.
Yeah, but I guess we'll have to see because it's so long since we got a proper sequel series of Batman because we just have so many reboots next to each other. I mean, I guess the Snyder trilogy that it's called now, I won't accept that, but that's my world and perspective. I mean, that was like post Bat family and everything.
Yeah.
He pretty much lost everyone. That's why he's building the Justice League now.
Which I hate. Batman's fun when he has a family. He can be sad and have a family. That's the best part of Bruce.
Yeah.
Is his 4 unruly sons. That's what's great about it.
Yeah. But I guess if we would ever have a sequel of the Batman, it's releasing next year, right?
Oh, with Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, I always forget the name. Yeah, but I guess if that would have a sequel, they're gonna have a Gotham Central type of
that's true.
prequel series of it. But I mean, it's in the sequel where lies the sidekicks and everything. And then, and I don't want to.
That's why I've always said just start off with everyone there. Just have a Robin's movie, but just introduce them right at the beginning. Your audience is smart; they'll figure it out.
Yeah, hopefully, but they don't have very high thoughts on the public.
No.
Not the general public that don't read comic books.
Yeah.
That's so sad. That's because they introduced Robin in the 3rd movie by the second last line in The Dark Knight Rises. And that's not Robin. Your middle name is Robin. I mean, that's... Oh, God.
So mad. Maddie, why would you want a Bat Family project when we can get the 50th Batman movie?
50th... When we can watch Martha Wayne Thomas Wayne get shot for the 50th time.
I know. I'm done. Stop it. Paul asks, do you think you'd ever do this series on Fangirls after reading volume 2? I'd love to hear Kristen's take on it too. Yeah, absolutely. Because so far, Kristen's only read one Batgirl run.
And that's what Gail Simone one. Yeah.
And she hasn't read much DC.
I mean, that's a really good start. And I still prefer the Simone run over this.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. But I like the feeling of Stephanie too. I think it's a nice break.
Yeah, as I said, she a nice positive breeze.
Yeah. Absolutely. Especially with a lot of other DC stuff happening at this time. I mean, there's a lot of fun younger books, but they go through a lot of hard things.
Yeah, and it's canon. As far as it goes until the Flashpoint.
Yeah. Jessica says, I would watch 1 million Lego Batman sequels, though. I agree. I think Lego Batman's my favorite. It's really good.
I mean, my absolute favorite is Batman Returns, the second Batman movie from the 90s.
That makes me so happy. I love those movies.
I mean, the music and the aesthetic.
Yes.
I cry when the penguins bury.
It's so good. I watched those growing up with my dad, and I have such good memories of them. And because of that, my favorite song is Kiss from a Rose by Seal, which is in the soundtrack of...
In Batman Forever?
I'm going to have it played at my wedding.
You go, girl.
It's dedication.
Yeah. But I mean, Batman Forever is very... I mean, all the Batman movies are watchable. It all depends on what type of eyes you're watching them with.
That's true. That is true.
Because I feel if we're going to talk about the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, because they are sort of in the continuity of the first Tim Burton movies, right? Because Tim Burton co-produced Batman Forever, I think. And then I forget the name, took over. But I mean, Batman Forever works. It's more comic booky. You get more colors. You get that casino sort of Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
But to watch the Batman and Robin movie with I forget all the actors.
I do too. I don't remember.
George Clooney, who's still paying people and saying he's sorry for the movie ever being made.
I mean, that's fair. I can't say it's a good movie, but I can say I enjoy it.
It feels like a modernization of the Batman 1966 TV show. Yeah. It's very campy, but it's updated, and it looks like action figure toys of Batman coming alive. And if you know that, and you know all the campiness of jokes, I mean, you'll enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
So many drinking games has come out of that movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Every ice pun and so on.
Yeah, so I guess bringing it back to Stephanie, the bigger question.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. This is what this show is. This is just fun. We talked about the book. We're good.
Yeah.
What we need to get people to care about her more is to get the DC animated movies to put her in, to put the other why haven't they had them?
They totally could have done that years ago.
Yeah. Those movies are great. I mean, they leave out Wonder Woman a lot as far as her having her own movies, but like we should have this. This would be fun.
Wonder Woman had 2, right? As far as I've seen.
The first one's good. The second one was.
We don't have any other female animated movies.
No, I think Harley is in one.
Oh, right.
And she leads Suicide Squad. But as far as like just one person, no, that's it.
Yeah,
but 30 Batman movies.
And Harley has her own TV show now, so
great.
that's something. And yeah, it is. I wonder how many seasons they can make of that, actually.
I'll take as much as I can get.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, Jim Gordon, he's probably my favorite character.
Oh my god, he's so good.
He's very accurate to how he actually would respond to everything that's happening around him.
Oh my god, every character in that is loyal to the comics in a way that's really funny.
Yeah.
But oh my god, Jim Gordon is just so depressed and so in love with Batman. God, he's so good. I could cry thinking about it. I think it's just really good. And Kaiban. Well, actually, forget all of that.
Hell yeah.
Fucking Bane. Bane is just. Oh, I'm crying. Funny.
I want to try to do the voices, but I'll just crack now. Oh god.
Oh, when he blows that yogurt stand.
I just see Jim Gordon with those heavy bags under his eyes.
Yeah, he's just like drinking and always asking Batman if they'll hang out. He's like, Barbara's left me and I'm real sad, but we're friends. Come on, Batman. I'm just real lonely. Oh, so good. That show it's perfect. Ugh.
Damien speaking way out of term and just making it awkward for Bruce or Batman. When am I old enough to have sex?
It's spot on.
I'm gonna ask Alfred to make you a sandwich.
Oh man, so good. I could do a whole show talking about Harley Quinn show. Man, we're getting the long Halloween. Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward for that.
That was good.
I think they said that they're gonna adapt it right straight off, and I have some doubts of that because of Batman Hush, but they were trying to implement that into all the other movies that came out previously, so it would work with those. But still, I would take it either way because, yeah, it's a good book. It's one of the few Batman books that I see as essential for everybody, not just me personally.
I agree. Oh, here we go. We need a blue and gold movie. Booster and Beetle. Yes.
I would watch that just to get to know those characters better because I read the first JSI omnibus, sold it off because I never thought we would get the second one, and it wasn't something that was nostalgic for me. But later Booster Gold series, I mean, Booster Gold in the 52 weekly series was awesome for me. I got a lot of the character in that one, I felt. And some of it in Justice League Generation Lost, which was like a sequel series for Infinite Crisis.
Yeah.
But still, we haven't gotten a modern Booster Gold and Blue Beetle story team up. I mean,
yeah, we're getting that now. So I think it's starting. So we're getting a blue and gold book. Huh? But and they introduced another character, some girl who's basically the two of them combined, I guess, but as a character. But yeah, I need to read the classic stuff too because I've only read.
Isn't there a Blue Beetle project, TV show or movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Something of it. I mean, even though that they implement Reyes something, I forget the name of him. He's Mexican American, I think.
Yeah, Jaime
Reyes. I still want them to implement the first original Blue Beetle and Booster Gold at something.
Yes.
They could, even though if they just add him in the post credit scene or something like that, just you need to come with me, making it like Back to the Future style.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the kind of movie, DC needs to do because it's fun.
Yeah, because they never dare leave it at a cliffhanger, really, just making it one solid movie.
Yeah.
Shazam was that. I mean, we got post-credit scenes, but still vague because they don't know when they'll get to it. And I hope to God that we'll actually get the Black Adam movie and that nothing else happens to it, because it just like this is typical DC now. There are a lot of promises with little to show.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm always 4 times more happier when I get a DC movie rather than a Marvel movie, because they have gone through so much more to get those out.
Oh, I agree. Because I love the Marvel movies, but as far as comics, I'm more of a DC person. And I have to defend that a lot, because a lot of the movies are just okay. But whenever we get a good one, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Like, I loved Wonder Woman. The second one, not a lot. But I love Shazam, you know?
I mean, I love Wonder Woman too. That's like top 1. If I would be honest with myself, but I probably put one of the Batman ones or Justice League Snyder Cut there also.
Yeah.
But I mean, with the general public in mind, I would probably put Wonder Woman. I liked Aquaman. And I mean, I always play the devil advocate when it comes to defending those movies, because I made a Hangout live stream about the Snyder Cut. And I know your feelings about it. Your feelings pretty much reflects all of the other guys that showed up.
Oh, really? I'm surprised.
Yeah. And that's why I had Omar come over, so I had someone that could have my back.
Oh, see, everywhere I've gone, not a lot of people agree with me. A lot of people are on the opposite side, so I was surprised.
Yeah, but I had no one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I still got to speak my passion about it and what I liked about it. And yeah, I like I said, I'd been waiting for that movie for 4 years plus.
Yeah.
Because never, when I saw the first cut, the Joss Whedon cut, I was like, I'll say that this is okay, because I have to say something, because this is my team. But
yeah,
it reflected nothing of the trailers that we had seen. It was a totally different saturation of color, and so many scenes that were lost.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. And I agree this was way better.
I was robbed, I tell you.
I agree with that part.
And I got back in spades by 2 hours. So
that's true. That is absolutely true. I'm excited for more stuff. I will definitely be excited to have more DC movies, regardless of what they are. I'll watch all of them.
The Flash.
Does that actually happen still?
They have started filming, apparently.
Oh, yeah? I wasn't sure with things that happen with Ezra.
I know. That's why I want to put you on that spot directly to see if you would back off, actually.
I forgot about it. Oh, God.
And
maybe I won't give it money.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, it is a hard spot. And I mean, if we are going to go into that spot, separating creations from creators and other people involved.
Yeah.
I try to actually do that quite a bit.
Yeah, and the thing is with movies, that's just one person on the team.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with supporting everybody else. I'd make that an exception. Yeah. You know?
And it's the same with comic books and other comics. I recently reread Planetary.
Yeah.
I recently finished the 4th Harry Potter book in a graphic novel format.
Well, yeah, I think, you know, the discussion's difficult, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, like, I'm okay. I just feel like as long as people are cognizant and be like, you know, hey, I really like this book. Because I love Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Yeah.
I love it. I own the omnibus and all the trades. And people hate that book. But... And I'll still say, like, I still love reading it. Like, I would do, if I'm going to recommend it to somebody, I'd be like, you know, Lobs is a problem. Maybe buy it pre-owned or something. You know, or just be like, hey, I loved this. You should know about this guy, you know? But The kitty cat.
Yeah, he's chewing on my headphones.
What's his name?
Wheatley.
Oh, it's so cute. Hello. This is the best. I'll tell Kristen to watch this part of them.
Yeah.
The episode.
Sorry.
Oh, something we didn't do. We're getting close to time. We didn't give our rating out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
It's required. I really liked it, so I would give it like a 9 out of 10.
I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. I'm very picky nowadays. Wheatley.
I think that's good. See, I'm picky and not picky. It's all based on feeling after I read it.
Yeah. And I guess I compares to the latest things that I read, and the latest thing that I read before this was the Super Sons.
Yeah. Oh, well, then that's hard.
That's
Super Sons is... If I had just read Super Sons and read this, I would say something different probably.
Yeah, and it's...
Super Sons is 10 out of 10.
Of course, that was more material also, but still.
Yeah. Oh, God, so good. So good. So we have now hit the time, and it is very late for you. So I want to make sure, hopefully, you can get some sleep.
I actually forgot about it. This has been so fun.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to have you back again. Maybe we can read Cassandra Cain Batgirl together, or read, I don't know, whatever. There's a ton of stuff I haven't read.
Whatever sounds fine.
Okay, we'll work on it.
I would love to do that.
So for everybody's watching, if you're interested in Joakim's channel, which you should watch, all the info is in the description below. So your YouTube and your Instagram, I put them there.
Thank you very much.
And I hope that you guys like this video. If you're watching it later, please comment down below and tell us what you thought of the book or whatever we talked about it. And we have a Patreon through which you can vote for our pick of the month for Old Reader, New Reader. This month, what you're going to be voting on is a comic that's been turned into a TV show. So you can vote on 4 options. So Invincible, Stumptown. Ooh, what else did I choose? There's 2 other things in there. I already forgot what they were. But you can vote between those things. And next week we'll be back doing Batman Face the Face.
Oh, that one.
I've never read it, so we'll see.
Batman / Two-Face, Face the Face. There's a lot of face.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out which one it was. But yeah. And thank you again, Joakim, for joining me. This is fun to finally get to meet like this.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to this forever. Nobody has been more hyped about this than me. And your pronunciation of my name is very good for an American.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And everybody go check out his channel, and hope you all have a good night.